I almost feel like a James Bond like supervillain. For a 4,300 pound British sports car, why does it feel like this? I feel like there's some trickery in the way that they designed a lot of this. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the 2018 Jaguar XFS Sportbrake. Sportbrake meaning wagon, which immediately makes it super cool. So, to go over specs for this wagon, so right off the bat, we have an all-wheel drive supercharged V6 3.0. We're making 380 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. Now, it does come on in the mid-range in this, even with it being supercharged. It's a little bit higher on the mid-range. We also have a ZF 8-speed, which everybody loves. It's in the Supra, it's in a bunch of different cars. We have 13.8-inch brakes up front and 12.8-inch brakes in the rear. Now, originally, this did come with a 255/35/20, but Gomez, who owns this car, put a 255/40/19, so a little bit more sidewall and a smaller diameter tire. So even with this being a wagon, we only have a curb weight of about 4,300 pounds. Now, it might sound like a lot, but I mean, you look at like a Mustang, like a brand new GT500, or a, you know, a C8 or a Challenger Hellcat or any of those, like they're up there as well. And with this, you feel fancy and you're cool because you have a wagon. And immediately, I feel so posh in this. And when I want to, whoa, oh, that torque, oh my goodness. Oh man, you can feel the torque immediately. That is so cool. And the transmission is right there. Now, I've driven a bunch of cars with the ZF 8-speed, and I mean, I know Porsche has the PDK, but the accessibility of the ZF 8-speed for so many people, oh, it's so easy. For so many people to be able to use that transmission and it shifts so quick and be so knowledgeable, it's a lot more enjoyable because of the entry cost of a ZF 8-speed equipped car. Now, this car was MSRPing around 80, so I don't know if we're going to talk about like affordability, because you can go get a PDK equipped car for 80 or less, you know, like a Supra, for example. Obviously, those come in manual now, but with this being all-wheel drive as well, speaking of driveline and all that fun stuff, this is all-wheel drive with a rear bias. So it actually does kick the rear end out if you want it to. I do feel like I'm sitting decently high in this, and not just because of the seating position, but the car sits a little bit on the higher end. Now, again, I'm used to driving things like Miatas and 8.6s and all that fun stuff. Man, that torque! But it's not bad sitting up higher. I don't feel like I'm driving a bus, which is funny because in a Fiesta ST, which is, you know, a little bit more budget friendly than this, I feel like I'm driving a bus. Even if I lower the seat all the way, it's just the way the steering wheel falls into my hand. It makes it feel like I'm driving a bus. But in this, I feel like I'm driving the sedan, which has the exact same wheelbase. I feel like I'm driving the sedan, but just with a little more pizzazz. And it's a wagon. That makes everything cooler. So this is one of those things that you want something unique that no one else has. Oh man, that makes a lot of torque really, really low. That's super enjoyable. You can grab one of these, and I guarantee you're going to be one of the only people with these. They had less than 4,000 of these in the US, like, ever. Oh, and they're so hard to find, but they're so enjoyable. I'm not like understeering. For it being all-wheel drive, it acts like it's rear-wheel drive. Obviously, with the bias, man, it just pitches into the corner and the torque pulls me out. I'm in third. Oh, and it's pushing. Not pushing as in understeering, but pushing as in like it wants to go fast. And a wagon on the Dragon, no rhyme intended on that one. But a wagon up here, you would think the weight would really deter the car from wanting to go quickly. But honestly, it feels very at home. Wow. Just right out of the turn. Oh my goodness. Man, and the way the power delivers, you know, we're making about 400, and 400 with about 4,300 pounds. You know, your power to weight isn't perfect, but I think it's exactly where it needs to be for this car. And you can feel those 13.8-inch brakes up front, man. They are grabbing. Now, this is on stock pads and fluid. All we have modified with this car is the tires and wheels as well, obviously, since we went from a 20 to a 19. But man, Gomez did a great job with this car, and Jaguar did a great job with this car, just establishing it. You have like AC seats, which is good because it's about 93 degrees outside. This is something that you could buy and drive everywhere. Now, in a lot of instrumented tests, they average like 19 miles to the gallon. But I mean, when you make torque like this, why would you not want to stop it? And if it acts like this in the turns, man, I honestly don't feel like there's a massive amount of weight behind me either. Like driving like the V70R Volvo wagons, you can feel how long that is subconsciously. You can feel how long it is, but this, I mean, it feels like I'm driving a sedan, which would make sense. Granted, the Jaguar, I forgot the coding for the sedan, but the sedan version, it's pretty large. It's like almost like an M5, but it handles its weight really, really well. And with this having the multi-link and everything else, it handles its weight fairly well as well. It's not wanting to push. It's not wanting to understeer. And if I wanted to oversteer, it absolutely can. And it just pulls. And it feels nice to be in here. I'm like zero rattles, not hearing a single thing. It's so posh and quiet. Now, for the price it obviously needs to be, if I'm spending $80,000 on a wagon and it's not the Volvo V90, I'm gonna want this thing to be just about perfect. And with the motor they went with in this, I mean, it's pretty close to perfect. It's not really lagging down low or up top. You can stomp it, it pulls itself out of a corner, and you can feel it push you. You feel that torque push you up the road, push you into a turn, or push you out of a turn. I think the biggest thing that impresses me with this car is its ability to manage its weight. You're a multi-link front and rear, as well as auto leveling air suspension. And all of those together are phenomenal when they all work. They all work right now, but the one thing about a British, we're gonna call it a sports car, or an enthusiast car, a car that has a lot of things, that a lot of capabilities, is that it worries me long term for something like this. If it can manage it and not break, then I'm sure it will be thoroughly enjoyable. But the one thing that obviously worries me is, can all of this continue to work? Can it not have issues with the auto leveling or anything like that? If this car stays as is, it doesn't break catastrophically, oh, man, this is like a forever car. I mean, you have a 1 of 20 supercharged wagon that you can tune. There's tunability available for this. There's 2 different companies that tune it, and it's extremely capable. You can take these on a track. Gomez is going to track this car if he hasn't already, and he's going to absolutely flog this thing. And I can tell just by it being up here how composed it feels going back and forth in and out of switchbacks, and the few straightaways that are up here, how well it delivers the power. I mean, this car is just a dream, man. It's not for me. I'm a big manual guy. I always like my manual transmissions. But I mean, for someone that wants something, like, I could haul a set of wheels and tires and 4 people to a track day in this thing, do it, get average fuel economy. But like, if it's 100 degrees at the track, I can just sit in this thing and enjoy it, man. What an enjoyable car. And I don't feel super cramped. The bolstering feels great. I mean, I am not upset with this thing in the slightest. We just got back after that drive. I'm speechless. The brakes were there when you needed them. The tires were incredible. Granted, they're high performance Summers. The power is extremely linear. It wasn't really unpredictable. It was always there when I needed it, especially if I wanted to rev it out and get that beautiful supercharger whine, because it is there. And this is bone stock in terms of engine mods. And I could still hear that drivetrain noise. It was really, really enjoyable. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to check out some of my other reviews and definitely keep an eye out for some things that we have coming. This is a 1 of 99 car. We have something even more rare coming. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.